Okay, so Relentless Maverick is calling this first section denial. The questions are out, and the instructions are 30 minutes of contemplation for each question. We are not talking about the alligator filled river floating down Egypt, okay? That's the Nile, honey, not denial. Though I've been known to use them interchangeably depending upon my mood. So, denial, yes. I always recommend starting with looking up the definitions of words, not just the modern definition and not Wikipedia, because those are other people's opinions of the definitions of words. But Webster's, ancient Hebrew, ancient Greek, just digging into all the different possibilities of the definitions of words, because the English language in itself is muddy and dirty and limited. And you're probably going to get better definitions from other non-English sources. To me, denial is a refusal of acceptance. It's not necessarily that you don't know. Sometimes people do know. It's not merely that you don't want to know, because you might want to know, but you just can't bring yourself to handle it. It's not a refusal to know, because that implies ignorance. It's an innate emotional barrier that prevents one from absorbing and processing a truth that is contradictory to the truth they have already absorbed and processed. And in many cases, the truth being denied is uncomfortable, unpleasant, or in some way painful in comparison to the truth they've already accepted. That's how I would describe denial if I were on the job, trying to help a family, a mom, a teenager, a dad, a systems worker, a special ed teacher, a social worker, any of those kinds of people that I come across at any given point, any day. That's how I would define to them what I think denial is. I'm sure as we go through this class, we'll get some very in-depth definitions and perhaps experiences of denial that we can draw upon to broaden our own knowledge base. So the instruction of 30 minutes contemplation is for the question, number one question. And because it is 30 minutes, I will do these individually, because we're already almost 4 minutes in and we haven't even read the question yet. So the first question is, how do I think taking this first step will help me? Well, when I initially thought of participating in this, it was an instant process. I heard Relentless Maverick discussing it in his video, and instantly my response was, I shall participate, grow, and carry something forward into my practice. I hadn't thought about why I wanted to participate, and I hadn't thought about why the word grow immediately popped into my mind. I completely understood the implementation of it into my practice. Much of what I do or contemplate on any given day is weighed in its value to my practice and helping those that I work with to help themselves to find their own path to enlightenment and awakening. And that is how I have always described my job. I help others help themselves. I support others where they are unable to support themselves in meeting the dreams and goals that they have determined for their own lives in their best way. Maybe there's ideas I have that I can present. Maybe there's examples. Maybe it's just knowing somebody's there to have your back. But those have all been very powerful in helping people feel empowered to motivate themselves to where they want to be when they were unable to figure that out. And I'm always looking for new tools and information and skills and strengths to take into that. So it's a no-brainer for that one. It's really easy to figure out why I wanted to take it into my practice, but thinking about why do I want to do this for me? I've been through codependency classes 2 to 3 times. I've been through boundaries classes 2 to 3 times. I've got a college degree that's got an emphasis in counseling practice, psychology, psychopharm. But when I get right down to the core of all that and just dig deep, like no lie, all truth, dig deep. I don't honestly think I was authentic. I do not honestly think I did the work to the best of my ability ever in any of those previous experiences. I think I did maybe 1/3 above minimum. There were so many things going on in life back then. Violent marriage, child to raise, incredibly stressful professional jobs in intense financial realms. Addiction, loss, and wanting to die. Those all got in the way of me actually doing the work the right way. But in 2017, I determined that I was tired of not being able to answer questions about myself. I was tired of struggling to understand why I do things. I was tired of thinking back a couple days later and wondering why I don't remember that. Or why do people think I'm so peculiar? Or why do I say things that make people go, what? Because I had no idea, no clue at all. I knew these things happened, but I didn't know why. I didn't know why I couldn't explain what I liked or who I was or what my dreams were. I had no idea. Even though I have a great deal of life experience, even though I do have some higher education, even though I have taken numerous classes of this very type, I didn't know. And in 2017, I decided that I wanted to know. And I put a goal that 2018 was going to be my year of authenticity and truth. I was going to figure out who I am, and I was going to know the truth, and I was going to do it. I was going to do it. Ego. Yeah, definitely ego was driving the boat. Because in the times I've done these classes before, I didn't really do the homework. I pretended to do the homework. I didn't really do the reading. I pretended to do the reading. I didn't really follow the instructions. I pretended to follow the instructions. Hence, I'm doing this on video. There will be no lie in this truth at the end of this class. And I will be able to prove to myself that I did the work. I followed the instructions. I made the investment. I did grow. I did learn. And I am able to teach going forward in authenticity and truth. So, we're all at different levels of this. We're all at different layers of that sweet, sweet onion. In the middle, it's kind of sweet. But my ex-husband, he's no longer with us. He had a thing about onions. Called them Arabian love apples. And he said, the bigger the bite, the sweeter the meat. He was referring to the onion because he would literally eat them. Peel it and eat it like an apple. And I didn't really understand because I wasn't a fan of onions. But I learned, we were married for a while, and I learned that each layer of that onion is sweeter to the taste. So when he would take this big, huge bite of the onion, he was actually getting a really balanced flavor on his palate because the outer rims of the onion were harder and more bitter, but the inner part of the bite was softer and sweeter. So it provided that balance, right? I did not know that. Recently heard it explained by Derek about how each layer of the onion gets sweeter and sweeter until you get to the core, and it's very sweet at the core. And I instantly correlated that to watching him eat that onion and talk about the flavor balance that he experienced. And the only reason I can explain it to you is because he was able to explain it to me so well. I never tried it. But I understand when you take what he did and you combine it with what I've learned, balance. There's balance in the onion. So we're all at different layers of this journey. We're all at different levels and we're all differently awake. And we all have different needs. Mine might be at a different and higher level than you perceive yours to be, but it should be. Because if it's not, I should not have my job. Honest. I mean, really? Come on, Deanna. Be real. It's not 30 minutes. I have a brain injury, so it's hard for me to focus, and sometimes I forget things. So sometimes I do things in small segments, small focused segments, and then try and bring them together. I haven't learned to do that yet, and I don't have somebody else to do it for me in this particular situation. So this first step is going to help me with authenticity. This first step is going to discover my hidden truth. Because this first step is an acknowledgement of a desire. It's an acknowledgement of a perceived need. It's an acceptance of a plan. It's acceptance of accountability. It's a willingness to be vulnerable. It's an admission that even as a working, paid, trained counseling professional, I don't have it all together. But I have it together enough to help other people get it together the way they want it to be, because I do not ever think that my way is your way. But I'm more than willing to stand by your side, ask pointed questions, and help you discover your way and where you want to go and what your goals are. And that will also help me, because it's purposeful. And in this field of work, no instant gratification. No. No. If there's any gratification, you will have to find it within yourself. Because when people's universes are being squished and stretched and poked and prodded and pulled, by themselves and others, they're not appreciative. They're willing, they're participatory, they're compliant because they have a desire to do something. But they're not appreciative because this hurts. It's very uncomfortable. Now, when they have met their goals, fulfilled their plan, and had some time to live in it, and have some trigger that reminds them of how things used to be, then there may be some appreciation. But I'm not going to know about it. And I don't need to. But knowing there was a purpose is very important. Very important. Because when you've gone through and lived through some of the stuff that some of us have been through, if you don't have purpose as to why, it's real easy to want to end this meat suit and get out. That's not a copy thing. I've been using that word for like 10 years. It just happens to be used by more than one person, that's all. So, let's go back to what else will do taking this first step. How will it help me? Genuineness. I don't know if that's, we'll call that one an ism, because I'm not sure if that's a real word. Validation. Because I know I didn't do it right the first time, and I still benefited from it greatly. I still improved, my life still improved, I still changed in huge ways. But there was some lie in that truth. And I don't float down that alligator-filled river in Egypt anymore. So I have to accept that. Though on those days when I was floating down denial, I had a nice boat. That was part of the denial, right? I want to come out of this being able to recognize my own inconsistencies. Recognize where I'm being inauthentic. Recognize when I start to shift out of balance. Because these are new things in my life. And I'm still lame. I'm awake. Getting there. And I'm hobbling. But I'm not walking and running and sprinting yet. So I think this will also help me with that. Because it forces me into a situation of accountability. And accountability can be a very powerful thing. So I want to recap. Let me see. What do I think about this? So far, it's going to help my practice. It's going to help me with authenticity. It's going to help me with purpose. It's going to provide me and help me provide the next layer of truth. It's going to bring some genuineness to previous experiences that I sometimes reference. It will provide a format for you to feel validated that not only are you not going through this alone, but somebody who does this professionally, they're doing it too. And you get to watch them do it. Makes some of us professionals a little more attainable, more real, more like real people. I hope to do that for you too. I knew it was going to be challenging for 30 minutes on that particular question. But it hasn't been as hard as I thought it'd be. So what else may come to me through this? And when I've been using the word I and me a lot, and that is uncomfortable to me. It feels very ego-driven and very I-centric, self-centered. But I'm bringing balance to that with the knowledge that, in fact, this is about me individually. This being in this flesh suit and its purpose and its existence. So I guess in this situation, it's okay to use the word I and me more than I'm comfortable with. But still very uncomfortable. And that's part of what started this journey, is the incredible discomfort at trying to recognize myself, describe myself, identify anything about myself, know myself. And eventually, that'll get better. And I know that it will get better through this class. And I think that's the most important thing that I hope to gain from this huge investment that I am making. Better knowledge of me, so that I'm more equipped to be humble and more alert to those times when I need to kill my ego and step out of it. I don't always catch it. It's easier at work not to, because as I've said many, many times, that work's not about me. I do not exist in that dynamic. I am merely an extension of the climbers with whom I'm working, because my role is 100% open acceptance of what their goals are and lifting them up to meet them. I am not in that equation. My ego cannot be in that equation. I struggle more in my personal life, in my spiritual life. And those are the hardest ones. There's no accountability there because I'm surrounded by others doing the same thing in far more intensive levels. So I think that is one of the things that will be most powerful to me, is a more rapid recognition and an ingrained innate ability to recognize my ego and step out of it immediately and kill it. Get that little detail chainsaw and just kill it. Be gone with it. Which will never end. Every single day that'll have to start over. It's just part of who we are. But that's one of the things I'm most looking forward to, I think. And the 30 minutes thing is, that'll be a great learning thing for me, because I do not do that in my own life. I teach others, I encourage others to do so, but I've never done that for myself. So that in itself is going to be something to learn. There's going to be much to learn here, and it's going to be wonderful. And if I end up sharing it with anybody, welcome, I'm glad it's you. I don't think I can say any more about this. I really tried for 30 minutes, and I'm being accountable to that right now. I'm looking you right in the eye and saying it's at 25 minutes exactly right now. And I'll just think, I'll take a pause a moment right now and just think, is there anything more? Yeah, actually, I was told a couple months ago that I would be doing something like this in the future. And I hadn't quite learned how to listen yet, so I was projecting. This experience, the video part of it, sharing it with you, that's going to be very good for me in learning not to project anything into what I think I'm perceiving from Father. Not to think that I know what it means. Not to interpret the words as anything other than what they are. And not to assume anything into it. Those will be some more really good things that I'll learn from this process. And I know I will, because I'm recognizing them, I'm speaking them, and I'm holding myself accountable to them. And that's part of the power of doing this on a video instead of in a notebook. I have stacks and stacks of notebooks of my work. But it wasn't authentic. Well, the work that I did was authentic. My practicing and performing of the work was not authentic. I didn't realize how much that had been eating at me over the years. But I do now. That really bothers me. And I need to get it right. I owe that to Father. It's like a debt. Like a lie was wrapped up in that truth. Yeah, I don't like that. I need to pay off this debt. And we'll all benefit from it. So what I most hope to accomplish from taking this first step, how do I think taking this first step will help me? It just did. 27 minutes and 52 seconds in. And I have already been helped so much just in the answering of this question and the making of this video. And I didn't even know. 30 minutes, huh? All right. Well, I made it to 28 minutes and 17 seconds. And that was on the question I thought would be so easy. Damn. Not easy. So, I don't know if I'll do question number 2 tonight or if it'll be done tomorrow or another day. I'm not on the same schedule as Maverick. He's very focused and driven, and this is his, man. He knows what he's doing, and he's on it. I'm a tailwind. I'm a tailwind who's doing this because Father said so. And right now, that's where we're starting. We'll see where we go from there. I'll have some other stuff that I put up on the video in different playlists and different other material not relevant to this. But I think this is the purpose for right now. And I will try not to have too much time between the questions. 29 minutes, 30 seconds are pretty good. Probably got a good 20 minutes of just this question after the intro stuff, so that's what 30 minutes of contemplation on each question would feel like. So, if you're here, welcome. You found it for a reason. And we will do this together. 30 minutes, 5 seconds. 6, 7, 8, 9. Good night.